Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Oshkosh, finally, 2021. I'm Nicolas Chabert. I'm the head of the aircraft division for Daher, and currently the CEO for the operating entities here in the US, TBM and Kodiak. Well, first, of course, it's great to be back, and I'm glad that we're so many people that just showed up yesterday. And this morning, I've never seen that many folks on the ground and at our booth. So it's a record year, and I like that because it's my third year Oshkosh. So it's great to celebrate our anniversary here with everybody. Unfortunately, we're missing a few individuals that were about to come here in the U.S. My CEO, Didier Kayak, was supposed to be here. COVID is not done in the world, and it's a little bit complex to travel. So unfortunately, we couldn't make it with other 4 folks from the factory in France. We're going to miss them a lot. But let me take you through a couple of highlights that I'd like to show you for our programs. And first off, let's make a Daher highlights on how do we do as a company. I think it's probably the first question that you ask somebody, one of your friends, but your partner in aviation, you really want to know if they are doing well, because it's a complex supply chain, and it's important to be healthy. So we're doing good as far as Daher is concerned for too many reasons. We're not in one single field. We have many opportunities, and the general aviation aircraft business was doing well. The logistics is doing well. The manufacturing side is taking a hit with Boeing and Airbus. But despite that, we were able to weather through COVID and maintain our revenue last year just above €1 billion, and maintaining a high level of employment, despite the fact that we had to let go a few hundred folks. I mean, only a few, because it's about 160 people that left our group, which is very a minor pay to the COVID compared to other companies. So we're still very strong, and we continue to be very strong also with a strategy that continues to happen here in the US. And this is here the display of the maps of the different locations where we're doing business. As you know, we took over Kodiak at the end of 2019, and that's going to represent our first manufacturing plant here in the US, and that is going to define, as I said, the strategy that we are about to deliver here in the US, but for the rest of the world, the group as well. So a couple of highlights as far as the group is concerned. We continue to innovate and to work through technological breakthrough that we want to serve our different customers. So here are just a couple of those highlights that Didier wanted to share with you, both from Europe OEMs and American OEMs. As you can see, first, we are proud to be selected on the G700 with Gulfstreams for our winglets. We also are continuing to be a partner for Airbus Helicopter involved in the H160 newly named Dolphins. And we also are doing some interesting composite components for the Wing of Tomorrow. This is a program that Airbus is having, which has a duplicate with Rolls-Royce, the new Ultrafan. So these are a few examples of the technology that we're continuing to invest. You know that we're very much invested with other partners. You can see on the right-hand side of the slide, and this is something that is going to continue as well. We believe that we can be a partner here in the US and provide value, provide our know-how that is directly driven by the European industry. First, on the 787, we are continuing to provide composite parts, but more interestingly enough, we are starting to have our breaking ground on the logistics aspects with Airbus, but also if I take North America, Bombardier in Montreal, we are continuing to accompany the big OEMs with our logistics and supply chain management. As far as the irrigation, the TBM, we have I would say decent year in 2020, given the fact that we cultured loss of production weeks. We unfortunately had about 6 or 8 weeks shut down, both in Sandpoint and also Tars, which we could not recoup entirely in volume. Although half of the year last year it was starting to boom, and this is a continuum with today in 2021, where the market has been extremely good. If you remember on the state of the industry, my remarks that I made for Gamma as a chairman was that we were going to have a great year in 2021. So people look at me and say, "Are you kidding?" Or I think everybody look at me today and they say that it was an understatement. Although, having said that, it is still a problem in the industry, towards the industry. We don't have a unified supply chain, and we are suffering, all of us, OEMs, from various stages of production, XLab. And obviously the TBM and Kodiak are no different. So this is why you see that we're expecting this year to have our top record year with 70 aircraft, 50 TBMs and 20 Kodiak. We're still in a ramp up for Kodiak, and for the TBM, we are kind of capped as we speak. I think I've never seen in my career that early in the year we are totally sold out to retail customers. So if you want an aircraft today, you're already looking at 2022. So that's something that is remarkable, and it stands out in terms of 2021 compared to any of the other years that we have had in this section of the market. Let me share the vision that we have for the two aircraft. First off, we have now a comprehensive line of products that is in the turboprop family. The TBM representing the high performance side, and the Kodiak being more the fun or utilitarian side of the turboprop business. As you can see, we have certain variations with the TBM that is offered with two types of avionics suites. The TBM 940 is cutting edge with all of the latest bells and whistles. We have this absolutely fantastic Hope Safe, which is mind-blowing, and in fact a new change in aviation. So the ability for passengers to return safely back to a field is something that is remarkable, and I'd like to thank Barbie for that. And I know that the recognition was made, with the Collier Trophy. So congratulations, guys, for your innovation. So it's fantastic to see that. It's important because innovation is in our DNA in aviation, and anytime that we offer innovation, the customers are very well responded. So we are going to continue, as you know, to innovate, and the TBM is not going to be an aircraft without innovations to come when they are ready, not before they are ready. We continue to offer the G1000 for people that are looking at lesser technology or more, accessible aircraft with the one that they're used to. Some people say, "Well, we're not dropping the G1000 on our aircraft." Number one is because we will miss a few sales. And if you will have about 2 or 3 airplanes that are sold with these avionics suites, it provides a choice, and we have to respect customers. And this is my answer to why we do not drop the G1000 for the TBM, because it still sells. The second line of products is of course the Kodiak, which you have 2 main variations, which basically, if you go to our booth, you can see how massive the float plane is compared to the TBM and the Kodiak on wheels. So that provides a clear offering between the two aircraft, and we're very proud to push, float plane. So this year we already have one aircraft that was sold on float, part of the new production. So if we look at the horizon and what I could define so that I kind of tease you for what is going to come next. Well, we believe and we continue to believe in two fundamentals today, and one is growing stronger as we speak. Well, number one, let's talk about the base. The base is safety. We believe, and we were just mentioning home safe as a major stone in aviation. I believe that anything that we do to ensure safety, not only in the cockpit but also for whoever is carrying our aircraft, is a plus. So we will continue to invest, and we have great ideas that is going to continue to push the boundaries of safety. And I'm absolutely believing that we cannot support anymore that people get killed in the aircraft. This is our duty as OEM to provide products where people are not going to do mistakes and suffer from it. So safety is one thing that we believe. It is not just about the hardware, it is also the soft side, and I'll speak a little bit about what do we do on the soft side as well. Training being one of the very big parts that will enter safety also. The second aspect I'd like to talk about is reducing aviation environmental impact. For Gamma, I am very much versed and pushing that aviation is getting greener. We are fully adopting as a company there the SAF and the use of SAF. We believe that we need to make our own steps towards our contribution to environment. I don't think we can green ourselves totally. I don't know exactly what does it mean to completely green ourselves. I don't know if some of you guys have recently looked into Eurocontrol that put out an initial study about environmental impact compared to rail. If you compare aviation use as a whole, because we are a food system, we are not looking good. But if we are starting to compare aviation with other means of transportation as a whole, not just selecting a train that is going to be operating electrical, but you're looking at how much carbon footprint, you need to produce for the trucks, how much environment you are going to take away because you have to maintain the infrastructure. The equation is not that obvious anymore, and we start to compare and suddenly hard. And I'd like the media here to really embrace and basically talk about the complete global footprint that we need to continue to do a good job, because aviation can be green, and we have a roadmap, but we really have a say compared to other means of transportation. And you're going to have us come big. Turboprop technology is today one thing that I believe very much, and we are going to continue to invest heavily into it, because we believe that's already the right answer to environment. So let's talk about latest achievements, as a rule. Well, a couple of very fun things. Well, we were able to deliver the first Kodiak Series 3 aircraft this year, and very happy to have customers that came and loved the aircraft and loved the way we put the program. You know that we pay attention to service, and that was something that we brought right away to Kodiak team to basically come up with a full maintenance package with any and all of the aircraft that we have delivered. So that's something that is very much appreciated by the customers, and we will continue to match what is already on the TBM for those Kodiak customers. Another one that we're very proud of, is Margaret Waltz. Margaret, just across the Atlantic with a TBM, and she was on our 900 crossing. This is absolutely amazing. Anyone that flown with Margaret know that she's a legend, but I gotta say that she's more than a legend. I mean, she will tell you stories about North Atlantic like anybody would, and it's somebody that is definitely worth interviewing, and before she retires, because she's a very smart and I would say serious woman. She wants to put an end to her career before her career ends, in a way that she's not in luck. So again, safety being one of her first motto, she wants to stop ferrying aircraft before she's got a warning that it's not the one that she likes. We also had University of North Dakota that took their first TDM 940. And this is something significant because this is a university that is teaching young pilots on the TDM, and I just wanted you to be aware of that piece of news. And of course, we doubled the number of deliveries to the Kodiak with TDM, which matched the 22 deliveries by the end of June. Another interesting item is, due to COVID, I can tell you with my personal experience, I carried flown an aircraft in February with Margaret, as a matter of fact, but also I went upon the cross, several times to come to Sandpoint and to Pompano Beach, and I do not undertake, anyone that is making those commitments and wanting to be attending Oshkosh. So here's the Castellini family that cross, I would say, the Caribbean from Brazil to be here at Oshkosh, and they are today the record distance to come to Oshkosh. 2 years ago it was an easy thing. Well, today it's a little bit more complex. Let me just take you a minute to over the pause and watch a movie showing and featuring those two aircraft. Alright, so let me now give you some specifics and updates for each of the programs. Let me start with Kodiak. Taking over a company is always a little complex thing, and what we want to do is to make sure that we have our hands on the business, and this is what we did as far as the first month of integration of the company. So what it does is that we have reworked the product offering. So we introduced the Series 3, which basically is taking all of the know-how that we were able to capture from customer feedbacks and put it and embed it into a product offering that is now very comprehensive. We have had very high returns on what we do, and what we want is to have an aircraft that once it ships out of the factory, you can either go on wheels or on float. So you can actually make the best use of the aircraft without having to do a whole bunch of rework and mods on the airplane if you decide suddenly that the float plane rating is your next thing in life, which I did this this spring, so I just went for a couple of splashes, and I'm waiting to get on the Kodiak to do that as well. So, but it's meaning that for the Kodiak, these products, whether on float or on wheels, are providing a tremendous amount of value. So we wanted to make sure that there is no penalty when you are buying the aircraft and you have all of these options that are ready. The also thing that I just talked about is the commitment for service that we made. So we matched a 4-year program, maintenance program, which is called the Kodiak Care Maintenance Program, so that we are taking care of everything like we do for TBM for the first year of operations. And that has been something that has been highlighted. Last but not least, we also beefed up the offer, went out from the, I would say, utilitarian feel of the airplane to a more luxury. People were having a need for a cabin that is more luxurious, that has all of the kind of options that you want to see, like, of course, headset plugs and USB plug, but you want to have leather seats and reclining seats. So we worked and worked on all of the details so that we can provide a luxury cabin, but at the same time an aircraft that is flexible and you can transition and carry a lot in it. And that being said, is not to forget what we do for ops operation. And we're also coming big into the ops market. And the first example is that we have a fleet of 2 Kodiaks that were delivered early this year, and they are going to be operated by Arkansas Ambulance. And those aircraft is the first line of products that are already been delivered to Special Mission or to ops market. As we speak, we are attending APSCON, which is another Special Mission show where we are showing the camera mounting, the ISR solutions that we have developed with our partner Farberjet, and that is using the cargo pod where you can have a 15-inch MX camera to provide all kind of surveillance. You know that we have a number of aircraft are flying for the Forest Service or for firefighting. So this is something that is going to continue big, and I believe that this is going to represent about half of the volume for Kodiak in a given year. So having said that, the program is moving slowly. We're going to reach not soon enough, but very soon enough, I hope, the 300 mark for the number of airplanes that went and were shipped. It's still a young fleet, as you can see, with less than 300,000 hours, but it's going fast, and the geography is a little bit more 50-50 between North America and the rest of the world, which is in fact different to what we have on the TBM. Let me pause and have another video for the TBM introduction and update. Since we were ready to be all together to celebrate the 1000th TBM, I found that it was a good time for you to remind that we crossed that milestone. There's only a few programs in aviation that are able to match this magical number, and we're very proud to have the TBM matching 1000. I can tell you that 25 years ago, sitting here in the very same place, it would have been a challenge to believe that we would have been 25 years later where we are with that many number of airplanes, which again is going to be the one that we are going to be soon happening in the US. 1000 TBM is not that far along before we can get that number here in the country. So a very mature program, a lot of technology that we put in the aircraft, and just so that you get it on where we stand with TBM 940. TBM 940 is a fabulous machine. We have delivered a lot of them, but as you can see on this little summary, we have had an incredible amount of success with the 900 series. We're short to come with 400 aircraft. So if you just make a map, out of the 1,000, 400 of those have been the TBM 900. That gives you how much this program has accelerated since we introduced in 2014 the 900 series. But one, and I just mentioned that I cannot stop speaking about how great value unsafe is given to the airplane, and how much this option that, let's face it, pilots could care less. But it's not an option for them anymore. It's an option for the passengers. And it's probably the time for us as pilots to turn around in the backseat and pay attention to what our beloved, carry packs are thinking, and this is providing them an option. And this is going to define what is modern aviation. I was with the FAA just a little bit earlier. It's growing on them. They start to see that, this is what is going to be ultimately the path for aviation. And now my question is, how many of the existing aircraft could benefit this feature? How much of the planes that are already in the fleet could also benefit that option for passengers to push the button and to safely return to an airport of the system choice? So again, congrats, Garmin on that, because it's also part of our success. But as you have to understand, it's not because a feature is available from an avionics provider that it becomes a product. There's an enormous amount of engineering that goes behind it, and I'm very proud to say that anytime that we work with Garmin or any of our folks, Carter Whitney, also, we try to push the boundaries. We try to, in fact, get outside of our comfort zone. This is how we engineer a good product. This is how the same function will look different from one aircraft, from one product to another. And we're very proud that with this, we have had so much interaction with the aircraft systems that today, even if the aircraft was literally looking like a TBM 930, it is absolutely not a TBM 930. It's a totally different aircraft, and the change of name was something that we are very proud because of all of the work that is being done. And it's always a big question: why do we spend so much time for something that pilots aren't going to use? It's unbelievable that we have had so much engineering for something that literally, cross my fingers, no one is going to get used. So I think that's what is wise to safety. And that's why I think fundamentally, as an OEM, we're going to continue to do and invest in technology that some people will not understand first, and they will understand it later. So this is, just to give you an example of what we do. It's also behind the scene. I'm very proud to say that it's a tremendous collaborations that happened between the EASA and the FAA. I was on a conference with them, and we learned so much. There's so many stories about, okay, we blame on the FAA, blame on the EASA, but how slow they are sometimes. But at the end of the day, they trusted what we proposed. We shaped the habits. We have to find a new path to certify these products. And as far as we are concerned, we were able to have a dual certification, EASA and the FAA, and I'm very proud. And I'm very proud to have that collaboration between our partners and the certifying bodies. It's not easy. Why am I spending a little bit of time on this? if we don't spend the time and understanding how many details I'm talking about, there's no drones that are going to fly in the sky. It's not going to happen. We have to change our mindset, and we have to help our regulatory authority to also evolve and to take advantage of the CS very right and do all of these great things that are going to enhance safety. So I know that my good friend Joe is a great speaker, for Ghana, but what I'm saying here is that we're defining a new world, and I'm proud to be part of a company that is also engaged as well to put our mark into that, as many others, friend company that are doing that and that are a member of Ghana. So as far as we're concerned, we did two things with HomeSafe. Number one, we deliver new products. That's easy because it's starting off, the line correctly. But we retrofitted 27 aircraft. We even retrofitted 13 of the 2019 aircraft that were not supposed to be on the HomeSafe. That's the commitment we made to our customers, making sure that they are not going to be bought out of a new technology. So we're almost sure that all of the 940s that have been delivered in 2019 will ultimately and eventually convert to HomeSafe as well. Some numbers, we are having a more mature product, as you know, continue to cost way over 2 million flown hours, 1,041 TPM to be exact, as of end of June, continue to grow. We'll ship out 50 of those this year, as I mentioned, and the distribution is still very much in favor of North America and specifically the US. So now, let's talk to the last part of this briefing, which is digital core. I told you some time ago that what qualifies somebody that is in digital is the ability to have different versions of the software and constant updates. We are now up to version 5, which you can easily download out of the app or the Android store, and you can see another big steps that we are making with the app. The big step, and I'll invite you to come over to our booth. Wayne and Louis, sitting back in the room here, will give you a full briefing. What we do is we are introducing 4 different sections in this new update. We continue to do the aircraft management and analytics, and that's something that helps us to assist our customers and sometimes to preempt a little bit issues ahead of time. We've done that, a lot with our friends in Spider Windows. So anything that we see ahead of time, we try to contact the customer and help him to find a fix or change a use that they have unfortunately not done right. We will continue to have safe monitoring too. That is something which is so important, so that we can have people self-correcting themselves. It's easier when somebody else than the instructor or the buddy is coming to you. You just put the app and say, "Oh, I screwed up my landing. Well, what did I do? Oh, I didn't put my flaps at that time. I was too fast crossing the 500 feet." So all of these things is helping safe monitoring. And of course, it helps you go to the right side of the screen, which is a challenge. And that's where the community is all about. That's where we have introduced today the TPM Aviators Challenge. It's one thing that we want to recognize our customers are flying safely. So right at the booth tomorrow, we are going to present all of the safe pilots, all of the safe TPM pilots with a trophy to monitor the fact that they have had a 80% safety mark from the application. So it goes from takeoff to landings and making sure that the landings are going to be done very safely. So again, I don't want to go too deep in that presentation, but please come to our booth and have a chat with Raymond. He's going to show you, have a chat with some of our customers. We are helping them to be safer pilots through the digital. And of course, we want to continue to have us follow Daher follow the Kodiak program, follow the TBM program on the media. I know it was important during COVID that we maintain the link, but now that we are face to face, don't hesitate to use all of these videos and intervene if you can. And with that, I'd like to take any questions if we have a few more minutes left.